I had a comment that was left under my 3 things she's feeling when she ignores you video. And in all my videos, when I answer people's questions or I go into details about these are the reasons that women have these reactions when you're doing these certain things, and then these are how you actually remedy that. I'll give out tips and tricks that you can do to ideally let her see that you're not so needy and she'll not pull back so much. And so oftentimes when I'm giving this advice, I say things like, if she's pulling back, you want to match her and pull away a little bit yourself, or lessen your texting, or it might be that you were showing up too much and so she needs a break from you and you got to give her that break and all these other things, right? So anyway, so this guy commented, whatever I said in that video as a solution, he said, this is pathological, it's insane. Only way you're not going to have a bad time with women is to just literally not care about women. Now, what I tell you guys in the show is that it's not about not caring for a woman. It's about the level of care you're currently giving to her during the dating phase, and it's about you being indifferent so she can see that you're not going to be rattled if she decides to up and leave, because both of those things are threats to women. Now, in reference to the time thing, you have to understand that in terms of caring about her and stuff, it's not that you don't need to care, but what men typically do is they're showing way too much care early on. They essentially start going into boyfriend mode after 2 or 3 dates and a good hookup. And I tell you guys, it takes 2 to 3 months for a woman to solidify her feelings. I say that on almost every freaking show. So if you're not giving her those 2 or 3 months, then what you're doing is you're trying to show all this care for her. And the care that you're trying to show is showing all these emotions, trying to overreach and overextend yourself for her, which to her feels like boyfriend actions. And if she's not there yet, then it feels like too much. So this is why you're supposed to be either matching or actually going slightly slower than her in terms of the level of attraction and feelings that you're putting out there. Now, again, oftentimes men don't like to hear that because they think I'm not being honest. And I'm actually putting together a show which kind of expands on a point I made on last week's show, basically talking about how ultimately, guy, your level of interest and your feelings, it does not matter. All that matters is where she's at in her emotional journey and if she's ready to step forward based on where she's emotionally at. Your emotions, whatever you express, are going to feel like they're too high too soon. So this is why it's better for you not to not care, but to know that you're caring enough to where you're asking her out, and you're paying for her meals when you go on dates, and you're giving her good hookups, all right? All these things will indicate to a woman that you probably have some level of care for her, but not knowing that level completely is what's going to keep you in the game. So that's the first part. The other part is being indifferent, and I'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. But again, the more indifferent you can be to outcomes. Like a woman wants to feel like you care enough about her to want her around, but not so much that you're going to stab her if she decides that this is not for her. And this is also why showing too much emotion in the beginning freaks women out, because when you're doing that, she's not going to know how, all she's going to feel is like whatever heightened level of emotion you have for her, it makes her feel like this might be a dangerous scenario because, God forbid, if she's dating 2 or 3 other guys at this time, for example, and she chooses guy number 2, and you're currently guy number 1, and she's like, I don't want to deal with guy number 1 anymore. Well, the overbearing feelings you're putting out there is going to make it feel like this is now a dangerous game. And so this is not about not caring about women, but it is about simply understanding their feelings and emotions, which we'll also get into a little bit later in the marketing section. But needless to say that the stuff that I'm giving you guys to do is based on research and my own personal experience and understanding that, oh, when I was doing these things as a dater, I was getting these kind of results, and these results were bad. So if I start doing these things over here, I was getting better results. I'm going to keep doing these things. And you can be mad at how women are reacting to you based on how you're coming at them. But at the end of the day, all she cares about is how's this guy making me feel when I'm interacting with him? And if he's making me feel too much, I'm not going to feel good and I'm going to go away. And so you have to know the steps and you have to know what methods to use in order to make women feel comfortable enough to want to stay around long term. It just is what it is.
You's a bad boy, but you can't stop, won't stop. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high class man. You a high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high